Welcome back to the Crypto Plebs channel. It's your boy Jumpman Crypto. I hope everybody's doing great on this Monday night. So if you guys don't know what's going on, if you guys have been just not on the news and not staying laced up with what's happening in these streets, OM, one of the biggest projects in the top 20, took a nice little 90% dump. There was so much fear on Sunday. Some of the alts took a little tumble down. There was so much chaoticness in the markets. I was trying to figure out what was happening. Everything was looking good. And then I saw some alts taking a nice plunge. And one of my members noted me that OM was, you know, in some big trouble. So there was all these kind of rumors going around that the founders ditched the project. They were doing some kind of nefarious stuff with the project. And then, there was other stuff going on, that there was a over leverage of the token. And, there's just so much stuff going around, guys. It's crypto. It's like a soap opera here in this space. But, I started thinking, I kind of hope that it was the project founders that just up and left, because if it was the other situation where there was over leverage into the token, I actually think that's a lot more bearish, because and if you start thinking about it, this could potentially happen to a lot of other alts. Now, I don't want to be a channel that starts spreading FUD and stuff like that, but when you start thinking about all these bigger players like the Wintermute and these big liquidity providers, the amount of damage that they can do to these altcoins is really serious. And that was the reason why at the beginning of the year that we decided to, in my Discord, position ourselves to a lot more of these US strategic reserve / US based cryptos, because not that I'm saying that these things are immune to this. Obviously they're still tied to a lot of these really bad liquidity providers, but I just figured that, like, it's time to start making some changes to my portfolio. Hopefully that this would probably, not likely happen to those tokens. But yeah, man, this is really sad what happened. We were most definitely taking advantage of some of the longs when it did hit that 50 cents. Shout out to my boy On The Go Crypto and my moderator P. We were most definitely long in these things, taking advantage of these price volatilities. We were going up and down, made a pretty good $500, on that day. So that was nice to, get some of those gains on that. But yeah, guys, if you guys are looking for an exchange, by the way, I'll leave some links to the bottom. You guys already know we trade on Femex here in Plebs. They're a great exchange to use if you're just trying to stay away from that whole Coinbase and crypto.com thing. I've never had any issues with them. They have a lot of other tokens besides, the normie coin. So if you guys are looking for something like that, go and use those links below. But yeah, man, so this was crazy. I would join the space. I was part of the X space that Kelly Callum had, and I was listening to these guys talk to, other influencers, and they were trying to, just figure out what was happening. And, I heard some people talk about TA and stuff like that. Guys, look, again, I love TA. I use it, but there was no amount of TA that would have saw this coming. I know a lot of people were saying that, the charts show that there was a false, liquidity being added, and there was just a lot of non-organic growth. And the fact of the matter is, guys, a lot of these tokens ran up the exact same way. At the end of the day, there's just, if there's these type of big players that are like the Wintermute that are manipulating these tokens, this can happen to any token. So yeah, you guys just got to be careful with some of these tokens that are just not located here in the US. I really think that this is going to keep happening. I hope it doesn't, but this most definitely has changed my mindset on a lot of these tokens. So this is a reason why, like, I just strictly trade most of them, and make sure you always use stop losses, because if people weren't using stop losses on these trades, man, oh my Lord, they were getting totally wiped out, man. So that is most definitely not good to see and hear. But what's next with OM? I think OM is done. I know a lot of people are saying that, it could make a comeback. For the amount of money that this token lost, it would really surprise me if it did make a comeback. Can you trade this thing? Of course. Is it going to make a comeback to maybe these $1, $2? Of course. But as far as like actually parking money as an investment, I think a lot of trust has been lost. But at the end of the day, guys, I mean, this is just an opinion. But if I'm going to be looking to put money into something else, I'm probably going to be looking for something a lot better than OM to be putting money in. And this thing wasn't RWA, so it's really sad that a lot of people are now starting to second guess RWAs a little bit. And I was looking at the price of another token that we have in the Discord, which is Parcels, and fortunately, Parcels even took a little bit of a negative impact on that as well. I'm not sure if maybe, this had something to do with the market sell off, but you know, I had a few people message me about parcels like, hey, Jump, are you still bullish on this token? And look, guys, not that it matters, but this is a Coinbase Ventures project. This is something that they're invested in. And I'm not saying that everything that Coinbase Ventures is invested in means that it's just a gold mine. If you actually look at their portfolio, it's down 80% as well. So, it's just one of these things, man. These tokens are getting really beat down, and you can either look at these as a buying opportunity, or you can just look at them as a high risk gamble play. But with parcels, I'm still buying. Like I said, I'm down pretty bad on my spot buys. But at the end of the day, guys, look, I'm looking for the long term. And if this thing is going to be something that I got to hold for a few cycles, then that's fine. But I'm not going to sell anything. I think it's pointless to do that at this point. But if you guys are looking to get out, then hey, you got to do what you got to do. But this thing has been played many times over and over, guys. I'm still really bullish on the narrative of RWAs. There's always going to be bad apples in each space in crypto. And unfortunately, like I said, OM did kind of put a bad taste in a lot of these other cryptos' mouth. But I'm still rocking with parcels. So if some of my community members are watching this is my stance on it. But also, I want to talk about Ethereum. Ethereum's been looking pretty good. I've been noticing it's been staying above this VWAP. Money flow looks good. RSI looks good. Still in a little bit over in the overbought section, but for the most part, Bitcoin's been bouncing around this 85, pulled back to 84, and is still holding this 1600 zone. So I am looking for hopefully a breakout soon to this maybe 1740 area. I was checking it out today. So, I'm hoping that, Ethereum can start doing something. I know a lot of people are coming out in troves saying that Ethereum is dead. And, guys, this happens all the damn time, man. Everybody's just, getting all antsy and coming out with their predictions that, ETH is not going to perform this cycle. Same old stuff. You hear this stuff all the time, guys. It's the same guys over and over that, this token's not going to do this token's not going to do that. But I'm still bullish on it. I'm thinking maybe I might get a nice pull up to this 786, 1770. So that's where I'm looking at it. I got a long trade on it right now, 10x leverage. So if this thing does good, I'll be taking some profits here at that area for, the little scalp long. And then I'll cash out and buy more positions of it. I do hold a pretty good amount of ETH. And if it doesn't perform well, then hey, it's whatever. It's not my biggest holding, but I still believe in ETH, man. It's really sad that a lot of people are really drinking the Kool-Aid that this thing is dead, because there's the same people that were saying that last year with XRP. And now these guys are just, they're just buying the top. It just, you can't, you just got to pray for these people, man. Some of these people really need help. But look, ETH is still bullish, guys. It's just a little sleeper right now. And then there's this other one, guys. I've been talking about this one a lot too. It's Pyth. Pyth is an Oracle. It's like Chainlink. It's the number 2 up. Guys, every time I make videos, I'm always going to be dropping you guys little nuggets here and there, and I'm going to give my whole portfolio away for free. But, most definitely every time I hop in here, I'm going to be showing the community some love and giving you guys some good banger coins that you guys could be adding to your portfolio. Like I said, we all love XRP and ETH and all these big caps, but you got to make sure that you're buying the low caps, man. This thing was at $1.12. This thing could be a nice 12x to go back to all-time high. Even if you got to round trip this for another cycle, dude, Oracle is going to be bullish. This thing has more partnerships than Chainlink. I don't care what anybody says, man. Chainlink is one of the most bullish cryptos out there, but you got to give your hats off to Pyth, man. Even though the price is down 90%, this thing still has a lot of potential to make a nice run up. If you guys are looking to hit a swing trade on this, you can probably catch it back down here at the level of support here at the 236. You could probably round it up maybe 13 cents, try to bang it up here to 14. In my opinion, that seems kind of dumb, but there's some people here that just like to swing trade. I get it, but there's so much more potential, guys, just to hodl this thing. Even if it doesn't go back to the dollar, statistically, cryptos mainly don't ever go back to their all-time high. But if this thing could even get back to 75 cents to 80 cents, I think that would be a massive, massive 6 to 7x. And so just guys, keep that on your radar. I know this is a token that has been really pummeled a lot. It's down 90%. The same thing as OM, but this thing has a lot of potential in my opinion. But I just wanted to make a video, guys. I gave you guys 2 videos back to back. That's like a record for me. So you guys make sure to leave some love here. Leave some love here for the Plebz community. And shout out to my KGU family. You guys know what it is. You guys, I love you guys so much. Y'all take it easy.